that have these groups, Alien Contact Org, UFO Association, and then the health and wellness that you're under, like at this psychic event. We have psychics. We have the New Horizon Psychic and Health and Wellness, or they call it Healing Arts. But we're trying to find out, because there's more and more people in our social media groups looking for the niche genres. And then the niche genres can lead to the study of. And we need somebody like you to help us define our terms.
Well, TJ, I just want to remind you that we're running out of time. We're down to 4 minutes. Yeah. So let's begin to wrap this up. We can always do more.
Well, okay, outline of epistemology, but could you help us? You heard what I said, and if you forget, just put this on and zap over to the end part. Social epistemology, maybe. I don't know, but we need truth, knowledge, and belief. But have you worked with ontology versus epistemology in the past at all, or is that something you do regularly in biology?
You know, those terms pop up in sort of the sort of this evolving domain of systems biology or mathematical biology, as it's called, and as we begin to integrate these different fields, we don't use it as much as some of those folks do, but yeah, I mean they have their place in what we're all about.
All right, so phenomenology, I don't even know if Janet knows that's what she talks about, but epistemology and phenomenology. That's, Janet, sort of what you're talking about with the ghost, I guess, or what,
right.
You know. So we've got to term that, Janet. We're into morality of epistemology and the introduction of it, but we're going into alienology and the knowledge of that impacts the interaction of what we do. And I don't know how to talk about that knowledge or belief or truth and justice. And, you know, Tommy Huxtabud's really big on this is truth. And, you know, he thinks everybody the way they believe, you know, and it's part of our philosophical, but our visual thinking. And somebody like, you don't have to come from Stanford University to be a visual thinker, but
one
it helps
man's
people
truth
see
is
pictures.
Another man's science fiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Well, we have 2 more minutes. How about let's just wrap this up, because I have to go. I have another appointment, or else I can leave. I've got to take care of something. But I've had a great time, and I want to thank you, Ira, for coming on board.
It was my pleasure.
A great show as usual, and love to have you back sometime. Any final words, Ira?
Yeah, no, I always enjoy talking about these topics with you and your audience. I have a lot more to talk about. We didn't get a chance to go into mosquitoes yet, but we can do that on the next show. But have a lot more to think and talk about these issues, and think there's a lot more we can definitely do and get people interested in.
You want to come back tomorrow?
Well, I'll talk to. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do tomorrow, but I can tell you some dates for the future. But TJ has.
We'll do it offline. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm
booking Friday and Saturday, so Friday is by invitation only. But tomorrow we're starting what's called the Allied Command with an astronaut, Senior Ken Johnston Sr. at the same time, and you could come on and help us get all of what we just stopped and go forward. And you can bring your mosquito too, if you want. You know, because we don't care. We talk about everything. But you know, he's open.
Bring your mosquitoes.
Yeah, you can bring your mosquito and your kidney, if you'd like. And epistemology. You can even refer to epistemology and ontology with all that, right?
Okay, I'll drop those words too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you could, we'll have you on tape, and of course everybody can come back and listen and see how uneducated we were or how grateful they are that we're doing this orthodox epistemology or something. I don't know. It's but do you feel like you could come back and help us with our truth and our belief?
Absolutely.
And
I have to run, TJ.
Really?
I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Janet. All right. Thanks, you, Janet.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah, Janet had to drop. So that would be awesome because it's not easy doing what we're doing. And Ira, you just seem like the perfect human that has Bioquark, and it just sounds a little quirky. But you do mean quarks out of
out of the subatomic realm, exactly. Yes, things that change into different things based on how they're perceived.
Well, do you want to be known in the future by all the people that listen to me and all the social media groups? I have thousands, but we're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for a way to communicate.
I'm looking for a way to uncover truths in many fields, and in my specialty is doing it through biology, but there's obviously many ways. But I think I can bring an interesting part of the puzzle to the table with this sort of biologic connection.
All right. Well, tomorrow night is the beginning, the first show of the Allied Command, and we've only advertised it for a week. But UFO Secret Space is most interested into what we're going to create with that. The Allied Command is going to be all the different groups that believe they're from other realities, or Janet calls them time travelers, or secret space program. We have all these things in the woo-woo world, or metaphysical world, or Facebook world, if you want to say it, or virtual reality world, that I tell you, the entertainment industry loves us because we're not quite sci-fi or fantasy. We're something else.
Gotcha.
So we're sort of future visionaries. I call us cosmos visionaries, but we all want to come together, but bring them all together. I don't want it to be another Comic-Con. I have the names, and you can help me, but I have, I have UFO. Do I have UFO? I have UFO Association, and I have Cosmos Expo, and I have Portal Stargate, and I have Stargate Con, and I have Alien Con to produce events. But right now, I've got to get the epistemology and belief from what we're trying to create as truth based on taxonomy and epistemology for alienology. And this gentleman that's coming on, he goes to all these sites that I don't, but they follow the star system pyramidology, which I left out. And many of the people that have pre-designation are, Genie calls it Secret Space Program because of Corey Good. Have you heard of him? The Solar Warden Program? So you don't know when she's talking about 20 and back, or spending time and coming back and losing time in space. And
I know a little bit about that, yeah. I'm familiar with that topic.
Okay, all right. Well, even with my husband and I in the real world, I call her woo-woo world, and Corey Good woo-woo, and me, I call reality, because I was in uniform and I was in the military and I was in projects and we did real studies. Now, that doesn't mean that mine are any more or less woo-woo than theirs, but that's just what my brain does. I like it. But woo-woo is okay, because that's how we get to the science of it, right?
Yep.
I think it's all philosophy until you get to the science. So that's why you're so important. You're the only one we know, other than we have some doctors in reincarnation that can get pretty heavy. And I may have you on with him sometime.
That'd be neat.
SimQ, a reincarnation doctor. Yeah, Dr. SimQ, Walter SimQ. Are you familiar with him and LinkedIn?
That name is somewhat familiar.
Yeah, he's
I'm going to take a look here.
Yeah, look at LinkedIn, Walter SimQ. I think it's SEMKIW, and I don't remember, but it's in one of my magazines or e-signs. Anyway, we got to bring in reincarnation into this, but he likes you to remember any of your past life, and if you can prove it or find a face or something, which I did years ago. I didn't know that he was going to come back into my life and want to be a part of my radio shows. But the fact was, I did have a past memory as a Russian lady, and found the picture and all that long before I got into all this stuff. And I put it out on the internet years and years ago, probably prior to 2003. I don't remember, but I did that for a while. And I lost the name and all of that energy, but it was very important because I was living it and coming up. But I've noticed if I don't use it, I'll lose it. And it's nice to write down thoughts and keep them. And I did that for this particular entity that I was, or thought I was, past life. But I didn't yet understand how that could happen, because I wasn't into reincarnation, being brought up Protestant. And you know what I'm saying. If you grew up in America, you don't hear about reincarnation as a child.
Right.
So I was having trouble with it. So part of what I'm doing now is to make it okay to talk about anything, but try to stay in certain realms. And we can also go there, dimensions and realms. And I'd like to discuss that because we have 7 realms. And the Xenoverse, there's universe, universe, multiverse, metaverse, Xenoverse, Omniverse, Alphaverse, and Omegaverse for right now. And I put it in some of my books. But I had it all in Wikipedia and stuff, and a lot of people took it down because they didn't like it. And I didn't even start most of it, but I started some of it, and we worked on it for years. And they started picking it up, and Stan Lee was following me and on UFO Digest. And as long as Stan Lee was alive, it seemed to be cool. But at the end, it got all into, like the Pegasus project I was working on, time travel. It got to be the Comic-Con people took it over. And Corey Goode is known for comic books and stories and selling stories and working with computer graphics and design. So he tells these outlandish stories, and Janet believes them. So I guess they're real to some people. And he has a huge following, a lot bigger than I do right now. At least it looks like that in YouTube. You know what I mean? Because I'm more real. And real people don't get a lot of following if you're trying to prove reality. The people that get the most following are out there creating this other reality, a fantasy reality. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I hear you.
So I don't know.
Stuff that currently chews, spits, injects, throws up on us on a daily basis. And the most common one happens to be the household, the mosquito, which, aside from biting us and giving us little bumps, also injects into us some really interesting things. And has been doing so for the last couple 100 million years, biting everything that exists on this planet, from dinosaurs to fish to amphibians, everything else. So there's an interesting little alien-type connection here, and it's not a xenomorph, but it does inject stuff into us that is really neat, aside from the stuff that kills us. And so I want to sort of separate the two topics because there may be a whole other realm of possibility, let's say, for the human condition in looking beyond the bad stuff that mosquitoes are typically thought of carrying.
Well, that sounds really interesting. I think that could become a form of higher level intelligence and alienology. And then when we work with Hollywood and they create all these creatures, I'm tired of them all being like they're going to kill you and monsters, but that's what they all are. So if you can help us do some pretty mosquitoes or some, I don't know, make something romantic, I don't know. We've got to figure this out because the Allied Command is about all these people. I don't know that you even follow any of it, but in the old days, I'll just tell you, I wasn't allowed to read the Ashtar Command. It was one of the first ones that was said to be put out by the intelligence agency to see if people would fall for it, and they did back in the day in the early, I don't know when the first one came out. I haven't done a historical review or vetted or, research on it. But that was one of the first ones, and channeling like Roberts and Seth, and there's people that pick up channeling, and it got to be where they didn't like it, but contactees and experiencers. There's this whole generation that came through reincarnation, channeling entities or energy or people from space, and then there's all these people that feel like they're abductees or contactees, and we're putting them all under a word experiencer, and that's not right because a lot of people that say they've experienced things, they're experiencers too. So it's sort of like we need taxonomy and help. So when you're going to be doing this chewing and spitting and stuff, we'll create in alienology. In other words, we can try to follow a biological lead. I'm not sure in taxonomy, but maybe you think there's a possibility?
Sure.
All right. Well, if you're willing to help, tomorrow night will be astronaut Ken R. Johnston Sr. He helps us in the military, and with our Sea Cadets and all that with the children. And he goes around and people look up to him in his little space uniforms and stuff. But we're going to make some between educational entertainment and how to get to the next level of intelligence by entertaining the children with the new reality and the new words and epistemology. And since we're already in cyberspace and in internet,